The claim that I'm going to be responding to today is that the increased use of solar technologies has pushed solar ahead of other renewable energies to reduce California's dependency on fossil fuels. My opponent's first secondary claim was solar technology cost has decreased, making it more affordable to more people. His second claim was that the high benefits of solar have increased the interest in using more solar energy. And his final secondary claim was solar power has reached new production heights. Again, referring back to his first claim that solar technology cost has decreased, making it more affordable to more people. We can't really argue that the cost has gone down because it has, but although it's gone down, the price for installation is still very high. According to benefits of recycling.com, payback time may reach anywhere from 10 to 15 years before you can even break even with your initial investment. So that's really showing you how much of an impact like that installation cost is. And so it's still, even though the cost has gone down, it still is very expensive. And then for his second claim that the high benefits of solar have increased the interest in using more solar energy, he uses the example that the government offers incentives for solar system installations and selling back surplus energy. But in his main claim, he focuses on reducing dependency on fossil fuels, but we're unable to see if these people are actually purchasing the systems for the incentives involved, or if they're actually purchasing it to reduce the dependency on fossil fuels. According to Sun First Solar, California is one of the best states for solar power incentives. The government encourages its citizens to switch to solar power by offering a variety of financial incentives to make the switch. So this kind of shows you how how much of like a impact incentives play in a person's decision to switch over to solar power. So this leads me to his third secondary claim, which is solar power has reached new production heights. However, he's kind of dismissing something that's really important, which is location. In certain states are more likely to succeed in solar energy production due to their naturally sunny atmospheres. If a state receives more sunlight, those states are more likely to find solar power more beneficial. According to the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, California, Nevada, Texas, Utah, and Colorado are all highly favorable in PV development, which is basically just the solar panels. So of course production rates here are going to be a lot higher than in other states just because this is like a sunny state. And also, as mentioned in his last claim, the incentives could be another reason our production is so high, just because we have so many good incentives here just to switch over. So my opponent did have some true claims, but I think that his focus was a little bit misplaced. Thank you.
Okay, structurally everything is sound. On the first part where you talk about what the break-even point is, I thought that was a very good piece of evidence that suggests that it's a long-term issue that people are going to have to deal with. I do think you need to explain a little bit more how that impacts the advocate's claim. If the advocate is suggesting that we're on the tipping point of being able to get to widespread solar usage or the cost decreasing substantially, I think you've given us a point where it says, well, not really, because in the long run, it still takes a lot of time to get back on these particular points. Like I said, despite the fact that that's a very good piece of evidence, I do think that there needs to be a little bit more analysis of the argument that the advocate presented on this particular point. On the benefits issue, I do think there's a nice causality claim here. In other words, is solar thriving because it is so beneficial, or is it thriving because, as the old saying goes, you know, you've hung a pork chop around the neck of the ugly dog so other people will play with it. You know, that's pretty much what's going on here. You know, solar can't make it on its own, so what have we got to do? We got to make it pretty by giving it all these kinds of incentives. People look at it and go, but then they say, well, we'll give you $1,500 off on your taxes if you do that. Well, maybe I'll do that. You know, it's like, okay, then, you know, is it really the solar breakthrough that we're getting that's producing all these benefits? I thought that that was probably a really good challenge that you're presenting there. You know, the productivity issue, I do think you had a legitimate argument here that suggests that it's limited to particular places. Again, I think it could be broadened a little bit, and I think there should be a little bit more discussion of the advocates' arguments on these points. But your counterclaims, I thought, were very clear, and they were effectively documented and explained.